The Korvathi had guarded the Temple of Eternal Valor for 12,000 cycles. In all that time, across all those generations, only 7 beings had ever passed through its legendary gates, warriors whose names echoed through galactic history, champions who had saved entire civilizations from extinction. The gates themselves were a mystery older than most spacefaring races. Carved from a substance that defied analysis, they stood 300 meters tall, covered in glowing glyphs that shifted and changed in patterns no linguist had ever deciphered. The Korvathi priests claimed the gates could sense the essence of a warrior's soul, measuring courage, sacrifice, and honor against some unknowable cosmic standard. Commander Zekthal stood at his ceremonial post, mandibles clicking in practiced rhythm as he observed the latest batch of pilgrims. Delegates from 100 worlds had gathered for the millennial trials, a chance to test their greatest heroes against the gate's judgment. Even to be denied entry was considered an honor. The Vraxian champion approaches, his second-in-command announced. Zekthal watched as the massive, crystalline warrior strode forward. General Kraxtor had personally slain a Devourex queen, saving 17 colony worlds. His military service record spanned 3 centuries. If anyone deserved entry, it was him. The champion placed one massive hand against the gates. Nothing happened. The crowd murmured. Kraxtor stepped back, head bowed in respectful acceptance. He had been tested and found wanting. There was no shame in it, merely confirmation that the standards of legend were impossibly high. 3 more champions tried. 3 more were denied. That's when the humans arrived. Zekthal had heard of them, of course, the newest species to join the Galactic Council. Remarkable mainly for their stubbornness and their tendency to find creative solutions to impossible problems. They'd been in space for less than a century, practically infants by galactic standards. 2 of them approached the checkpoint, a young female with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, and a male with an easy smile that seemed perpetually amused by something. Melissa Chen and William Parker, the female said, presenting their credentials. Xenoarchaeology team from Earth, we're here to document the ceremony. Researchers? Zekthal's translator conveyed his surprise. Not participants? William laughed. Oh, hell no. We're just here to take notes and pictures. This is amazing history. Melissa was already scanning the gates with her handheld device, muttering into a recording unit. The energy signature is unlike anything in our database. William, are you getting this? The harmonic resonance suggests a quantum-locked biometric scanner, but the technology required would be... Melissa, William interrupted gently. You're doing the thing again. What thing? The thing where you forget that not everyone finds quantum mechanics as exciting as you do. She grinned sheepishly. Right, sorry, Commander. We'll stay out of the way. But Melissa couldn't help herself. As the next champion, a Feldari warrior priest, approached the gates, she moved closer, her scanner active, completely absorbed in her readings. She was taking notes, cross-referencing data, entirely focused on the scientific mystery before her. She didn't notice she was walking forward. She didn't notice when she crossed the ceremonial boundary. She didn't notice when her hand, still holding her scanner, touched the gate itself. The gates exploded with light. Every glyph blazed simultaneously, colors cascading across the entire massive structure in waves of gold, blue, and silver. A sound like 1,000 crystalline bells rang out across the plaza. The ground trembled, and the gates, sealed for nearly 400 standard cycles since the last worthy soul passed through, began to open. The crowd gasped collectively. Melissa jumped back, nearly dropping her scanner. Oh shit, she whispered. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. William, what did I do? William was staring, his usual humor replaced by shock. Melissa, the gates only open for legends. I'm not a legend. I'm a xenoarchaeologist. I have 3 overdue library books and I forgot my mom's birthday last month. Zekthal approached slowly, all 4 of his eyes wide. Human, what have you done to achieve such honor? Nothing. I was just scanning. I didn't mean to touch them. But the gates continued to open, their ancient mechanisms moving smoothly despite millennia of stillness. The interior glowed with a warm, inviting light that seemed to reach out specifically toward Melissa. An elderly Korvathi priest, his carapace marked with age and wisdom, approached with trembling limbs. Impossible. The gates cannot be deceived. They cannot malfunction. If they open, it is because a true warrior of legendary caliber stands before them. Melissa looked desperately at William. This is insane. I haven't fought in any wars. I haven't saved any planets. Last week my biggest accomplishment was successfully assembling IKEA furniture without leftover screws. William's expression shifted from shock to something else, a growing realization. He turned to Zekthal. Commander, can I ask you something? What makes a legend? What qualifies someone as a warrior? One who fights against impossible odds. Zekthal replied automatically. One who sacrifices for others. One who faces danger to protect or advance their people. William nodded slowly. Melissa, where were you 3 months ago? She blinked. That's not relevant. Where were you? On Theta Station during the plasma core breach, and what did you do? Melissa's voice became quiet. I helped recalibrate the containment field. But that was just my job. Your job that you did while exposed to lethal radiation levels. Your job that saved 8,000 people. Your job that left you in medical care for 6 weeks. William looked at the priest. She never talks about it. Says she was just doing what needed to be done. The priest's mandibles clicked in wonder. The mark of a true warrior. One who does not recognize their own valor. And before that? William continued. The Kepler colony plague? I just helped analyze the pathogen, while infected yourself. And the Centauri station terrorist attack? I was trapped inside. I had to disarm an antimatter device with instructions from an engineer you could barely hear over a failing comm system. Melissa stared at him. How do you know all this? Because I looked at your personnel file when they paired us up. You know what I found? In 5 years of fieldwork, you've been in 17 life-threatening situations. You solved 14 of them. You helped solve the other 3. And every single time you filed the minimum possible incident report and went right back to work. William smiled. You're not a warrior because you carry a weapon. Mel, you're a warrior because when the universe throws impossible situations at you, you walk toward them with a scanner and a stubborn refusal to give up. The gates stood fully open now, their light pulsing gently, patient. Melissa looked at the entrance, then back at the assembled crowd. Slowly, hesitantly, she stepped forward. The light embraced her, and for a moment everyone watching saw something shimmer in the air around her. Images, perhaps, or memories. Moments of courage that had gone unrecorded. Battles fought with intellect instead of weapons. Victories won with stubborn human determination. When she emerged moments later, she looked dazed but unchanged. The gates began to close behind her. Well, William said with a grin, that's going in the paper. William, if you write about this, and too late. Already composing the abstract in my head. Commander Zekthal watched them leave, the human female arguing with her companion, both of them laughing. He turned to his second-in-command. Note this in the record, he said quietly. The 8th legend to pass the gates did so without even realizing she qualified. Perhaps that is the most human thing of all, to achieve greatness while believing you're simply doing your job. Above them, the gates settled back into stillness, their glyphs slowly dimming. But those who looked closely might have noticed that the patterns had changed, just slightly, incorporating new symbols into their eternal dance. Symbols that looked remarkably like equations.